Last Thursday I went to see a preview screening of The Martian, directed by Ridley Scott and starring Matt Damon as the main character Mark, as well as a whole host of other really talented actors and actresses. Now, I haven't read the book by Andy Weir, so I just want to put it out there right now that this review is purely based on the film and nothing else. It's about a mission to Mars and a man who gets stranded there when his team believes him to be dead. Don't be fooled by the grim sounding premise because it's actually not depressing. To me, it was beautiful visually. Something that really stood out to me was that there are 3 storylines. There's Mark's storyline on Mars, there's NASA's storyline, and then there's the rest of the team of astronauts. And I felt like each of those different storylines had their own colour scheme, and it just made the whole film so cohesive. And for example, Mars, the colour scheme was clearly orange and it was just stunning. I don't usually like 3D. I have to say that Mars lends itself very well to 3D. To me, the film is about cleverness, and it's about keeping your cool even when the odds seem to be completely against you. It's about never giving up and keeping your sense of humour. And it's also about putting your absolute trust into another person or another group of people, and just that faith that they know what they're doing and they will get you through something. So not only was it about working through problems yourself, it was also about letting other people help you with those problems, which are 2 themes that I don't think I see a lot of. I either see things about doing things for yourself or I see things about letting other people in. I don't usually see the 2 coinciding like it did with this film. As I was watching, I really felt everything that was happening. There's a scene at the beginning that is quite visceral and it really just pulled me straight into that character's feelings, and for me, I never lost that connection to the character's emotions. I always felt every success and every setback that Mark faced himself and that the other characters faced. It was as though it was happening to me or to someone very close to me. And I only really noticed that when near to the end I realised I was kind of sitting there like this and sort of like contorted with my hand over my mouth, just like, oh, what's gonna happen? And I didn't notice that I was doing that until I kind of saw out the corner of my eye another girl doing it, and I was like, wow, she's really into this story. And then I kind of realised that I was like. Also, if anything was ever gonna make someone fall in love with science, this film would be it. I'm definitely more interested now than I ever was after a science lesson that I had. But I also want to say, if you love science, go and see it because I think you'll really like it. It really celebrates science, and if you don't like science, go and see it anyway because you'll probably come out of it thinking that science is actually really interesting. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about 2 criticisms that I had because I want to get them out of the way so that I can end this video on a high note, because I really overall thought it was a brilliant film. There's a character in the film who is the head of communications at NASA, so she deals with like the press and media inquiries into what's going on at NASA. And overall I just felt like her character was dumbed down a bit. I feel like she was used as that character that kind of is that person that everyone needs to explain things to, and I just feel like even if she wasn't a scientifically minded person, she would still have to be a pretty intelligent lady to be the head of communications at NASA. I felt like it was just a little bit overdone, but I might be a little bit sensitive about that because I'm a communications assistant, so I just maybe took it to heart a little bit more than somebody else might. Another little quibble that I had was that there's a character that's introduced quite far into it, and that was really jarring to me. I wish that he'd been introduced a little bit sooner so that his part to play in the film just felt smoother rather than just kind of coming out of the blue. It felt a bit like he'd been squished into the storyline. Okay, so back to the positives. I told you not to be put off by the bleak sounding premise. It's humorous. Mark, the main character, has a brilliant sense of humour. And there's also some great back and forth between the other characters. I really loved the friendships and the camaraderie that was happening between them. I liked seeing all of the characters band together and work towards the same goal. I came out of this film feeling like, okay, I'm never gonna complain about a bad day at work ever again. I'm just gonna get my head down and I'm gonna solve the problem. I came out thinking that even if everything has gone wrong, I just have to push through and not give up, because the reward is going to be that I know I've given it 100%. I won't look back and think, oh, what if I tried a little bit harder? Mark could have given up as soon as he realised that he'd been stranded on Mars, because those were some pretty impossible odds. But he made it possible through his resourcefulness and his cleverness. It just made me realise that even if something seems impossible to get through in life, there's always a way to make it possible. And it's only through positive action that you can get positive reactions come your way. Honestly, I'm just so full up by warmth after watching this film. It's just great to come out of a film feeling like I'm floating around in zero gravity and the whole world is endless space and endless possibilities, and that all I have to do is just find a way for it to work for me. So if you do go to see it, I hope that you come out of that cinema feeling as inspired as I do and as uplifted and optimistic as I do right now. And for those of you who've read the book, I hope that you're not disappointed and that it lives up to every expectation. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye!